Hey you guys, what's up? I'm about to show you guys how to get perfect pulls every single time you make a pot. This is a challenging subject and it's really hard when you're a new potter to learn and just figure it all out, but hopefully this video will help some of you guys. All right, let's go. All right, my friends, throughout this entire video, we are just making one cylinder. So we can really focus on showing what the walls should be looking like. One of the first and most important things when you are trying to really focus on getting good walls is actually your centering. You want to make sure your pot is centering. The centering is really staple for every single pot that you throw. If you're off centered, it's going to throw off every single step. So watch my movements. My elbows are down, anchoring me in. My chest is forward. I'm leaning forward, so I'm using my body. And as I'm going, I'm not making a super tall, long, skinny thing. We are making a traffic cone. I know I've mentioned it in a few videos, but the traffic cone really is a staple because it makes it so when you are centering, you're not too skinny. It's not going to pop right off. You're not going to have crazy things that happen. And when you're doing this, take your time. It takes a lot longer than what you think. I am constantly adding more water to my hands, but I'm not soaking this pot. Water balance, if you are new, it takes time. But then we are going to, I'm not going to go over all the stages, but I'm going to show you them. So we're going to fast forward a lot of this just because this part doesn't really matter for getting your perfect pulls. But I do want to still show you the full process of it, so I didn't want to cut it out because we're making a cylinder, so I really want to make sure that you see all of the stages. So we got this pot opened and we compressed. Now this part is really important. I'm taking that sponge and I'm wrapping it completely around my rim, and my thumb is at the base of the pot. So I am starting all the way at the bottom, and my fingers inside my pot they're not pushing. They are loosely there, and we call this our donut. So I am just pushing down and compressing with my sponge, and I am pushing in with my thumb and getting this donut. This is my most important step whenever I'm throwing. You will always see me make this because it really sets me up for success when I am throwing. And you can literally take your hands off and see you have a donut. It's not wobbly. You're good to go for that first pull. Then we're going to keep our hand in that same placement. My sponge is wrapped completely around. You guys can't see my fingers are they look weird, and I'm not flipping off the camera, I swear. We are all nice here. Okay. And because I'm doing a cylinder, you can see I am going to do a volcano shape. I'm going up and in so I can really show you guys how to get those perfect pulls. I'm going slow. I did not fast forward this. This is my speed that I actually am throwing in, and making sure to take one hand off at a time. So one hand off at a time so we don't knock that back off centered. And I always, always, always regroup my rim. So starting again at the very bottom, because whenever we're pulling, our hands are always touching and we always start at the bottom. So you see, I actually grabbed clay there. You guys can see that shadow there. And I'm going to pull all the way up to the top. I did not fast forward any of these just because I really wanted to show you what a actual pull looks like. So one hand off at a time, and then we're going to regroup our rim again. Now, we're really making sure to anchor our bodies inward so our elbows are tucked, starting at that base and pulling in. If you are doing this and you're pulling too fast, you will know that by the rings of your pot, you will know if you're pulling too fast. Because if you're getting these giant circles and they're all over the place and they're all uneven, you will know that you're not pulling evenly. So even if you could even take like a red pen or like a marker or some sort of piece of clay even and put it on the top of the rim, and you don't get to pull up until you reach that piece of clay every single time. So now I am going to speed this up just because I'm doing the same thing over and over and over. We're starting at the bottom, going all the way to the top, regroup our rim, one hand off at a time. Starting all the way at the bottom, going all the way to the top, we got one hand off at a time, and I'm going to regroup that rim. I want to show you guys at this angle as well. I really, a lot of this just takes practice, but really grabbing that clay, going all the way to the top, one hand off at a time, and regrouping the rim. It's really just that. I'm going to show you guys without a sponge here. I'm just using my fingertips. So I'm going all the way to the top, regroup that rim, and you can see those rings. Like it's a little different with a sponge versus your fingers just because you can see it a little bit better. The sponge kind of rings it out, but you really want to focus on getting those ring sizes the same size all the way through your pot. So I'm going to show you guys here again, and this time I'm not going to speed it up. I'm going to kind of show you my little hand motions, and they're kind of like stair steps. If you ever hear potters talk about, making your steps, it's really this. Your fingers are, the outside ones are grabbing, and the inside ones you're pretending like they're almost like stairs. We're going all the way, and I'm not speeding this up just so you guys can really see every single pull and really looking at those rings as you're pulling, making sure that, you're breathing first off, because that's hard to do when you're a new potter and you're trying to pull and you're trying to really focus on your rings. So take a deep breath. It's going to be okay. If they're not perfect now, it might take a few years, honestly, years just of practice and practice and practice. But I just want to re-go over centering is really important. Starting at the bottom is also really important, and making sure that you're allowing the clay to go a full circle around before you start pulling up again. And that is the trickiest one for a lot of people. It's really hard to know exactly when it's gone a full circle until you get a little bit more comfortable with it. It's a lot of practice and just getting the feel for pottery. I know you'll hear that a lot because pottery is such a feel thing that it just does take doing things over and over and over again to get good at them. So because I want to show you guys this, I'm going to cut this extra clay off the bottom just like we would if we were trimming. I'm obviously not going to keep this pot. This is just for me to show you guys and teach you how to do this. So I'm taking a little bit of this weight off, and I'm going to straighten this up here and cut it in half so I can actually show you guys what the pulls look like and how, we would trim them and go from there. So I'm just checking to see if my new tool here is actually straight, because for some reason it looked like it had a little arch, but it didn't really matter anyways, because if you noticed, I arched it when I was pulling this, so didn't matter too much anyways. But we're just getting this a little straightened out here. And look at that beautiful thing. It's got like a teeny tiny little wobble, but that's okay. We are really focusing on just teaching and showing you guys how to get good pulls so that, and just so you guys know, this is a 1.5 pounds of clay. So that's what I make for most of my mugs are about between 1 pound to 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds, depending on what I'm making. But I'm going to cut this guy in half just so I can show you guys what it actually looks like on the inside, because we all know when you're trying to do perfect pulls, that's really what matters. So let's cut this guy, and I'm going to show you guys a few different angles here. All right, so far so good. Let's go to the front so I can kind of show you guys what we're looking for, and then we'll pull it back to the side again. But it's a little bit far away, but you can kind of see, like, obviously it's thicker at the base here. It's thicker because that's where we trim. If we're wanting a foot, it's okay to leave that little area thick. We want to add stuff to the base, and that is honestly perfectly fine. So obviously we could have done one more pull, and starting at that base, our hands are touching, and this is where you want to think of that stair step motion. So we're pulling that up all the way, pretending like our wheel is moving. Don't get pinchy at the top. That's where it gets really thinned out. We're trying to keep our hands an even consistency all the way from the bottom all the way to the top. And leave a little bit of weight at the bottom. It's okay, because if we're creating a foot, we don't want all that to be gone, or else we're going to create a hole on our bottom and we'll cry about it later. And in all honesty, if that happens, we can just add a bottom and it's not that big of a deal.
All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. That was just me really demonstrating how to get perfect pulls every single time. It takes practice. I want everybody, when you're watching this, and if you're a new potter, don't give up and don't be discouraged, because it's literally repetition over and over and over again of you creating and doing the same thing. So you need to really practice. It's a lot about pacing and breathing. Don't forget to breathe. I know a lot of new potters, when you're going, you hold your breath at the bottom and you go all the way to the top and then you let go and you can breathe. Make sure to breathe and you will have this. So that is how you guys get perfect pulls every time. I hope you guys learned something from this video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to us. Subscribing is free and it helps us grow this channel. So we hope to see you in the next video.
High volume. Am I really there?